Keem reported that yesterday and said that Tommy's channel wasn't doing well. And then Tommy called him and said he wanted to be on his show. And I suggested to Tommy, don't go on the show, that this is a setup. Keem said that it would probably be boring and he really wasn't that interested. He was going to leave this up to the fans. And, you know, he's trying to, you know, get some heat for this, get a pop for this whole thing, for this project. And I'll be honest with you, Keem, if you're listening, if you find out about this, I told Tommy not to talk to you because I smelled a fucking setup. I smelled a setup. And Tommy took my advice and some other people's advice, and he said, absolutely no way I'm not going on. And so this shit that Keem was going to hit him with, he dropped today on Twitter.
The fact is, autism does not define me. Technically, I'm not autistic.
What? You just said technically you're not autistic?
I'm advanced autistic.
With autism, there's like a whole spectrum, right? You got the classic autism where you have a severe learning disability, but then on this end, above average IQ, extreme abilities in some area.
The whole community was conned into thinking that Leafy attacked somebody that was like disabled. He's not.
Well, by his own fucking video, this dope. He's disabled, no matter what end of the spectrum he's on.
I think I'm deaf after that scream.
Yeah, I was like, well, no matter what end of the spectrum is on, he's did. So what this is, Leafy and this is my accusation. Leafy and I guess they got Leafy and Keem got together for helicopter lessons, and a 30,000 hit video is not something that Keem normally covers. So this is payback. This is payback for the situation that happened to Leafy, which Leafy well deserved. So I fired back, and because you know I saw this as payback, and I was pretty sure this was going to get attention, and it did.
Hey Keem, you're not a doctor, and by your own video, you show that he is on the autism scale. He went to Owen High School in North Carolina near Black Mountain, where he was in special ed classes the entire time. You're barking up the wrong tree as usual. I guess this time, instead of accusing somebody falsely of being a pedophile, you're going to torture a kid who is autistic, and by your own video, shows that he's on the scale.
The retweets, my Twitter is still blowing up right now. Keem came back at me. So
Publicity.
Yeah, I mean, this is that, but look, there's an upside for me. I'm not going to fucking lie about it, all right? But that's not what this is about. I've stuck up for Tommy when he had 2,000 subs. I'm sticking up for him now, you know?
Maybe he does have autism. Maybe he doesn't.
Well, okay. So you got a report and you got a rumor right there, dummy. And maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. So he's already backing off.
He says in his own video that he has advanced autism. That's the same autism that Albert Einstein had. All right, this whole community,
Albert, tweet,
was tricked into believing that Leafy attacked some guy that was disabled.
You point to the scale and you showed that he was disabled, if he's telling the truth. And that's another thing. Taking the word of somebody who's disabled about how disabled they are or they aren't, that's some spectacular journalism.
All right? And that's not the case. Tommy's normal like me and you, like anyone, all right? He might actually have like a gift. He should be open to criticism.
He does have a gift. He gets a lot of fucking attention. Well, I went back at him, and here we go.
Having 1 million subs on YouTube doesn't give you your doctorate. And taking the word of a disabled person and what they have and what they don't have isn't evidence of anything whatsoever. You're a journalist, supposedly. Why don't you prove it? This is just an accusation on your part. In fact, you know, I thought you were in the right with the Total Biscuit thing, but it's starting to look like Total Biscuit was right on about you.
All right, Total Biscuit is a guy who actually has it's pretty much over for him. He has advanced form of cancer, and he recently went to some YouTube conference and said that he's not really a journalist. And he had a heart attack, and Keem came back at him and said, what are you coming after me for? I'm a fan. I guess the next thing I'm going to report about is your death. So we know who we're dealing with here, you know? So Keem wasn't done with me.
I'm not a doctor, but neither are you. And I believe that there's a possibility now that we see Tommy in these vlogs, which are clearly him acting in skits, that he acted during this whole situation. And
prove it. Prove it. Prove it, Keem. You don't have anything other than an accusation. So you think this is what got you in trouble with that poor guy on Twitch? Would you had two of your dopey fucking interns looking at the picture and going, yeah, I think he looks like this guy. I think he looks like this guy. I mean, you have zero credibility. Look, I don't even believe in journalism. I think it's a novel idea. There's no such thing. You know, but the fact that you actually care when people say you're not a journalist. If you just said, look, I'm a tabloid guy, I'm a YouTube guy, that's one thing. But you're not a journalist, and you're barking up the wrong tree. The guy has been in special education courses his whole life. His whole life. He lives with his parents. He cannot read. And I love how everybody says, well, how does he get on Twitter if he can't read? You never heard of a speaking app, you dumb motherfucker? Never? Are you joking? It's like, Keem, I gotta be honest with you, he's a social media genius, but he's as dumb as a rock socially.
Him himself says that he's on the other end of autism, which doesn't make him a disabled person.
You're not a doctor!
But I'm gonna stop responding to you because I don't want it to get immature where I'm like calling you a cracked out Vince Vaughn looking motherfucker. I just want to keep it without kosher. Good guy.
All right, I cracked out Vince. I'll take Vince Vaughn. That's all right. Cracked out, whatever. You know, I got dumpy eyes, whatever. And that's fine. And that's fine. But I'll just say this, Keem, right now. You pussied out. I wish you would have done that. I really could care less about any kind of attacks. I dealt with ODS. I've dealt with Leafy guys for months. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean a fucking thing to me. A fucking thing to me.
I can more than take. You can get as personal as you want, Keem. I'm an Iraq vet. I can more than take a YouTube thrashing from 15-year-old fans. And you're right. I'm not a doctor or a journalist, and neither are you.
And then Keem pussied out. That was the last I heard of him. But I guess he was too much above that. So I look, from what I can see, I'm getting I'm doing pretty well on this.
Which that's a first for you.
What's that?
That's a first. Usually you get the negative.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I might get it either way, but I'm not getting like fucking tons of it. I mean, I got the occasional, you know, this, that, and the other thing. I think, and I made a video about this, and if you want to check it out, I highly recommend it. It's about cyberbullying and how I feel about cyberbullying. And I made it abundantly clear a week ago. Video got 100 views. Nobody gave a shit about it. They only cared when I re-aired ODS's stuff. And I will not. I think what Keem's issue is, and he's not 100% wrong, is Tommy is game because he's on YouTube. And I would agree with that in the strictest legal sense. But here's the thing, Mr. Triggered, every time somebody calls you not a journalist, all right, you're game too. We could punch back. It's no big deal. Now, I'm not aligning myself with the people that want to take your channel down and censor people. I'm not aligning myself with any of that. But we could punch back, just like I punched you in the face, and you bitched out. You bitched out. You bitched out with what 1,700 subs, and you bitched out. So you're not a fucking doctor. You didn't prove anything. You think that Tommy's been faking this all along. Do some research. Figure it out. But here's the thing. I've known him longer. I know I know his situation uniquely. I'm not going to go on about it. What's going to prove it all. But I mean, here's the thing. He's obviously disabled in some manner or another. Or he's the greatest actor of all time. I mean, look, you mean he fooled MTV? He fooled Tosh.0? But he didn't fool Keemstar. You know, and I saw him put something on there like, well, I'm dyslexic, so if you make dyslexic, then I have the right to thrash you. Keem, you got the right to do whatever you want, but you're going to have to deal with the consequences. Now, look, I am not for these social justice guys taking your channel down, but you just made a fucking jackass of yourself. A stone jackass. You're ignorant as hell. So we can punch you back. That's it. That's it. And you can punch me back. All you fucking want. But you know what? Thumbs down to me, it doesn't make my heart palpitate. It's just a picture on a screen. I know you deal with guys that are so desperate to get famous, so ridiculously desperate to get famous, that they'll try to parlay this. I don't care one way or another. It doesn't make a lick of fucking difference to me. So you thought you could manipulate me or something like that. You can't. I don't care. I don't care about the attacks. And by the looks of things, Keems, I'm the winner. That's it. You know, I mean, you want to go make fun of Tommy? He made the whole fucking place. He made the whole community believe that he was really disabled and he's not. And he points to a chart where it's people are disabled. Yeah, fucking dummy. Yes, if you're on YouTube, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can look. Fair use is out there. You can use. You can fuck with somebody. But let me tell you something. And this is another myth. Leafy's video and ODS video, where it's not criticism, it was a roasting. And if people want to call that cyberbullying, all right, let them. I'm not saying any of those guys should lose their channel. I know I've said that in the past, but I was wrong, and I made the video about it. Check out my video on cyberbullying. That's how I feel about this. But guess what? Who's acting like the triggered bitch when people go back out at you? So I hope you spit that video out tonight, Keemstar, exposing Tommy when you really just didn't expose anything. All you did is make a blanket accusation from a guy who doesn't have a degree in special education to make that kind of judgment. You're a Keemstar, not a doctor. That's all I got.
Drops mic.
Yeah, you're a Keemstar. You're just a Keemstar. You're good at being a Keemstar. I love Keemstar's work. I do. I think he's fantastic. But this is obviously, and this is another blanket accusation, he got it together with his Justin Bieber lookalike boyfriend, and they hatched this plan. Oh, we got solid evidence. We got, and then if you really pin him against the wall, he goes, well, it was all rumors anyway. We got solid, you got nothing. You got a belief. You guys were sitting in that fucking helicopters like, yeah, and there was no tears in that video, and yeah, and there was no this, and there was no that, so we got the goods. No, you don't. You got an accusation. You got nothing. You got nothing. This is how you got in trouble. Period. Unknown caller, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up? It's Ken.
Kenny, what's going on?
What's up? I had to call in because I hear what you guys are talking about. I agree a lot with what you're saying, but did you see one of the latest videos on Tommy's channel?
Yes, I did. He got drunk, and but he was pretending to fire his buddy and all that other shit.
I mean, listen, that's like, I don't know how to, I mean, what do you think of that?
Does it
That
prove that he's not
my
autistic?
thought on Tommy a little is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
you know,
I think from a viewer standpoint, like that's not what people go to that channel for. But I don't think that Tommy's an adult. He legally can drink. You know, I don't know if that was a good move showbiz wise. But I'm not in charge of Tommy. You know. But I don't think that makes him any less autistic, and I don't think he pulled the wool over the eyes of the community. You know, apparently he shot Jake.
No. I mean, I don't think it was that.
You know, he shot Jake. He also shot JFK, and I think I saw him in New York the night 9/11. The guy down, and he was right behind Keemstar and Leafy in a black helicopter. Yeah, sure. You know, I mean,
and he's Trump's vice president, right?
Yeah.
He's Trump's vice president.
He stole Obama's birth certificate. You know,
Tommy came off on that last video like he's never come off before on his channel. I mean, can you agree with that?
I get the heat. All right, but I'm pretty sure
it was
it's
like
a
the girl
30.
Was like she was so uncomfortable in the video.
It's a 30,000 hit video. How did Keemstar even notice if he wasn't keeping his eye on the situation? It's 30,000. That's nothing in Keemstar's world. Nothing. It means nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. And look, autism, from what I understand, is just a diagnosis by a doctor. You can't take somebody's blood and say they're autistic. There's just signs they show. Yeah. All right, and that's what, from what I know. And if I'm wrong, somebody call me up and correct me, because you can't correct.
I mean, did Keemstar really point to a chart?
Yeah, he pointed to a chart and said, "Look, he's normal, like you and me." Like, oh my fucking god.
Oh my god.
The best thing you could be.
It is.
He's got the good kind of autism. The good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like,
still
what's his name?
Here's the best. I'm dyslexic too, by the way. And here's the best part. It said severe learning disability. Severe learning disability. He can't read. That's consistent. Yeah. How could he be on Twitter? It's fucking 2016, you dumb motherfucker. You know, I mean, so look. If people want to say,
he went overboard with that.
Yeah, he's a big dumbass.
Telling me pull the wool over everybody's eyes. I mean, come on,
Kenny. I think your criticism is legit. If that makes you see Tommy in another light, you as a YouTuber.
Well, I mean, it did a little bit. I have to say, because like I said, I'm used to going on there and seeing positive things, like he always says. Stay positive. And all of a sudden, just to watch that video is a little weird on his channel.
Tommy is responsible for what Tommy does. And I think what you saw there is you really, let me tell you something. There's no realer motherfucker on YouTube. I think you get, you see what you get. I think people with autism can be drunk and silly and grab a girl's boob. I think people can be. I think people with autism can be vindictive. I think they can be really positive, and I don't think they know what they're going to be from minute to minute. And I think you see
they
that.
can be human.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So Tommy does everything off the cuff. The only thing he ever planned, that I am aware of, he fooled half the fucking community. So I mean, let's give him props. So let's give him props. So, I mean, whatever. And
hey, more power to him.
Yeah. Well, Keem back the fuck off. From me. If he had something on me,
he sees a story and he's just trying to run with something, trying to create a story.
Look, and why now? Why fucking now? Why a week after? This is my conspiracy theory. Why a week after he meets up with Leafy? He's pissed off. That's his buddy. That's his buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
He made it neutral. He made it neutral, and he saw a weakness, and Tommy didn't bite, and I don't think he's gonna bite, and I've recommended that he doesn't. And, whatever. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely, you want to get your point across, that's one thing, but the video, from what I saw, I mean, it was a little overboard on his point, Keem.
Yeah, because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, so he's always going to sound overboard.